في القوات المسلحة اليمنية بعون الله تعالى خلال 24 ساعة الماضية عملية عسكرية مشتركة استهدفت حاملة الطائرات الأمريكية USS هاري ترومان وعددا من القطع الحربية التابعة لها في منطقة شمالي البحر الأحمر بعدد من الصواريخ المجنحة والطائرات المسيرة. وقد استمرت عملية الاشتباك مع الحاملة والقطع التابعة لها 9 ساعات، ويعد هذا الاستهداف للحاملة هو الخامس منذ قدومها إلى البحر الأحمر.
On January 11th, Yemen-based Houthi rebels claimed responsibility for a significant attack on the American aircraft carrier USS Harry S, Truman, which was operating in the Red Sea. This attack marks the 5th time the warship has come under assault since it arrived in the region. The Houthis stated that the attack involved the use of winged missiles and drones, launching a sustained assault on the U.S. vessel for a period of several hours. According to the rebels, their strikes forced the USS Harry S. Truman to retreat from its position in the Red Sea and relocate further north to continue its operations away from the combat zone. The Houthi announcement was made in the aftermath of a series of airstrikes conducted by U.S. warplanes on January 10 against targets in Sanaa, the capital of Yemen. The airstrikes, which were part of the ongoing U.S. military engagement in the region, had reportedly targeted key sites associated with Houthi leadership and military infrastructure. The Houthis quickly framed their attack on the USS Harry S. Truman as retaliation for the U.S. airstrikes, which they condemned as acts of aggression against Yemen. The USS Harry S. Truman is a key asset in the U.S. Navy's operational presence in the Red Sea and the broader Middle East region. Its presence has been a point of contention in the ongoing conflict in Yemen, where the United States has been supporting the internationally recognized government of Yemen against the Houthi rebels. The Houthis, backed by Iran, have been fighting against the Yemeni government in a brutal civil war that has been ongoing for several years. The repeated attacks on the USS Harry S. Truman highlight the growing tension between the Houthis and the U.S., as well as the increased military activity in the region. The Houthis have previously targeted U.S. naval assets and have threatened further actions against American interests, particularly in response to U.S. military involvement in Yemen. This latest escalation comes at a time of heightened tensions in the region, with the Houthis increasingly relying on asymmetric warfare tactics such as missile and drone strikes against U.S. and allied forces. The U.S. Navy has not yet issued a detailed response to the latest attack, but it is likely that the Pentagon will increase its security measures around American assets in the region in the wake of this sustained assault. The repeated targeting of American warships by the Houthis raises the stakes in the conflict, and it could potentially lead to a broader military response from the U.S., particularly as the Houthis continue to challenge U.S. military dominance in the region. This escalation underscores the complexity of the ongoing conflict in Yemen, where external powers like the U.S. and Iran continue to play significant roles. The U.S. has been supporting the Yemeni government as part of its broader efforts to counter Iranian influence in the region, while Iran has been providing support to the Houthis as part of its regional strategy to exert influence over key areas of the Middle East. The involvement of external powers in the Yemen conflict has made the situation more complicated, with the potential for further escalation if tensions continue to rise. In addition to the military implications, the continued fighting in Yemen has placed immense strain on the humanitarian situation. The country has been devastated by years of conflict, with thousands of lives lost, millions displaced, and critical infrastructure destroyed. The impact of the war on civilians has been catastrophic, and the situation remains one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. As the Houthis continue to target U.S. warships and other military assets, the situation in Yemen appears to be heading toward further escalation. The risk of a larger regional conflict remains high, with the potential for greater involvement from outside powers, including the U.S., Saudi Arabia, and Iran. For the Houthis, the attacks on U.S. warships are a means of asserting their strength and resisting what they perceive as foreign intervention in their country's affairs. The international community has called for an end to the fighting in Yemen and for all parties to engage in peace talks, but the prospect of a peaceful resolution seems increasingly remote. With each new attack, the path to peace becomes more complicated, and the risk of broader regional instability grows. As the Houthis continue their campaign of retaliation and resistance against U.S. forces, the conflict in Yemen is likely to remain a volatile and unpredictable flashpoint in the Middle East.